Welcome to Techidia Daily. I'm WBC Ekekwe. Our conversation today will focus on monetization of software, essentially different mechanisms or techniques or processes that you can use to monetize software. And I will begin by just giving us a little bit of an overview. Across different industrial sectors and markets, software has become an engine that is driving productivity across global markets. Of course, as we know, that whenever productivity advances or penetrates into any economy, great things happen. It means that efficiency of production system will actually go high. And when that happens, it means that the GDPs of nations have always seen an impact. It means that the standard of living has also going to be affected, because when the GDP advances or when the GDP expands, the human welfare accelerates. And when that happens, it means more money in the pockets of citizens. So software has done great things, transforming markets, transforming industrial sectors. And some people say that software is eating the world, because in any specific sector where it enters, one thing happens. There is always an improvement in the efficiency and the utilization of the factors of production. So as you are thinking about going into a business that involves software, I am trying to use actually a piece from Ben Thompson to explain exactly the different mechanisms upon which you can monetize and build a business on software. One of the first ones is using hardware as a vehicle to actually make money on software. This is very, very easy for us to cite an example, because in iPhone, Apple has used a proprietary hardware which is exclusive to the iOS ecosystem to make a lot of money in the iOS software. The iOS is the operating system that runs most of the products and services that Apple sells across the globe. But those services before now are usually exclusive to the hardware built by Apple. Of course, because Apple is moving into a trajectory where it is not just focusing on selling hardware, it's also moving into service sector. Apple is opening some of those software services now to be available in non-Apple proprietary hardware. But before now, it has always been iPhone, iPad, Mac, and all other electronic systems. That is where you can only get software services that are built by Apple. So you can build a hardware that is a proprietary in a way that you can use it to drive exclusivity to the access to your software. And another is licensing. In the consumer world, Microsoft has done this thing very, very immensely. He worked with companies like HP, Dell, Lenovo, and all kinds of OEM, original equipment manufacturers, to bundle Windows into families, buying laptops and desktop. And that has been a very, very rewarding system for Microsoft. And of course, in the enterprise markets, it has also licensed its software to companies that are running Microsoft servers, running different kinds of services, as they have relationship with Microsoft to license Microsoft software to drive productivity across their different industrial systems. Another is software as a service. When you exclude the two ones I have already noted, hardware and licensing, any other thing becomes SaaS. And the SaaS you are looking at here is not talking about the software itself, rather the efficiency or the utilization or the utility that comes from the software itself. That is really what is being monetized here. So you are monetizing the utility of the software, not necessarily software. For instance, you can call Facebook a software, but of course you are not buying anything from Facebook. You are not paying Facebook any money for using Facebook. Rather, Facebook is monetizing your time as it sells advertisement in its ecosystem. So in the software as a service, sometimes it's not the software that you are buying. Rather, it is the utility that the company that is making that software actually extracts from that particular software. And we have entities that you can call platform as a service. An example is Google, Facebook. And then you also have infrastructure as a service like AWS, Amazon Web Services, Alibaba Cloud. So these are subsections of SaaS, meaning that they are building software solutions, not necessarily for them to sell that software, but rather for the utility that that software makes available in their ecosystem. And you can also include solutions in the domain of subscription service like Salesforce. These are entities that are actually making it possible that the value they create, you have to look beyond just the software itself, but also the enabler, the capacity for them to actually bring value in the whole enterprise system. And that means that they find a way to monetize the utility within that software and not just the software itself. And in coming home here in Nigeria and Africa, you can see there are also local companies that are running some of these models. Of course, we don't easily have a hardware-driven strategy like iPhone, but we have in the licensing part, Human Manager made by a company, System Spec Lagos, which licenses software to be used by many companies across the nation. And also Mexera, electronic health record system, which is also as a software as a service, enabling institutions to handle their electronic medical record system. And of course, in Ireland, it can also be considered as a PaaS, it's a PaaS system, just like Facebook and Google. But now it is not the software that powers Nairaland. Rather, it is the utility that Nairaland is now monetizing from that software. So for you to make money in the business of software, you have to consider where you actually have to play. Most entities are moving increasingly into the domain of SaaS because that is where the 21st century opportunities are coming. And that's the reason because internet gives us an unconstrained and unbounded distribution channel, making it possible that we can reach global markets, unlike in the past where territories are usually were managed by gatekeepers, making it very nearly difficult for small companies to have a global audience. And the licensing one is still there, but it's not as common as the software as a service. But you also understand that even in the software as a service, there is also a mixture where you can license certain things even at the same time that you can also make some elements free. So there are companies that if you are using their products, they can allow you to use ones that are supported by advertisements. While at the same time, if you upgrade into a premium service, they now allow you to use subscription, where you can also pay a certain fee for you to use that. But at the end of the day, you can summarize all these things into three. So look at your strategy. Think about how you can create value, how you can realize value from that software endeavor. It is very possible that these are the three options that are available. You are listening to Techidia Daily. Thank you.